Most people believe that massive success requires massive action, but in Atomic Habits, James Clear completely flips that idea on its head. He argues that real transformation doesn't come from one big breakthrough moment. It comes from small habits repeated consistently over time. According to Clear, the problem isn't that we don't set goals. The problem is that we rely too heavily on goals and ignore the systems behind them. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. In other words, winners and losers often have the same goals, but what separates them is the daily process they follow. One of the most powerful ideas in the book is the concept of getting just 1% better every day. It sounds insignificant, almost too small to matter. But when you improve by 1% daily, those tiny improvements compound. Over a year, that small 1% growth can make you nearly 37 times better than when you started. On the other hand, getting 1% worse each day leads to dramatic decline. The lesson is simple. Small choices don't seem important today, but over months and years, they shape your entire life. Clear explains that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just like money multiplies through interest, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. This is why bad habits can quietly destroy progress, while good habits can quietly build extraordinary results. The challenge is that habits don't show immediate rewards. You don't see dramatic results after going to the gym once. You don't become fluent after studying a language for a single day. But beneath the surface, change is happening. And eventually, you hit what Clear calls the plateau of latent potential, where results suddenly become visible. To help readers build better habits, Clear introduces the 4 laws of behavior change. The first law is, make it obvious. Your environment shapes your behavior more than motivation does. If you want to build a reading habit, place a book on your pillow. If you want to eat healthier, keep healthy food visible and remove junk food from sight. When a habit is obvious and visible, you're far more likely to follow through. The second law is, make it attractive. The more appealing a habit feels, the more likely you are to do it. One powerful strategy is temptation bundling, pairing something you need to do with something you enjoy. For example, only allow yourself to watch your favorite show while exercising. This trains your brain to associate the habit with pleasure instead of resistance. The third law is, make it easy. We often think we need more motivation, but what we really need is less friction. The easier a habit is, the more likely it is to stick. Clear suggests the 2-minute rule. When starting a new habit, scale it down to something that takes 2 minutes or less. Instead of saying, I'll read 30 minutes a day, start with, I'll read 1 page. Instead of, I'll run 3 miles, start with, I'll put on my running shoes. Master the art of showing up. Consistency matters more than intensity. The fourth law is, make it satisfying. Our brains are wired to repeat behaviors that feel rewarding. Immediate rewards reinforce habits. That's why tracking your habits can be so powerful. Checking off a box on a habit tracker creates a small sense of accomplishment that keeps you going. Success builds momentum. But perhaps the most life-changing idea in the entire book is identity-based habits. Clear explains that true behavior change is identity change. Most people focus on what they want to achieve, lose weight, write a book, build a business. But lasting change happens when you focus on who you want to become. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you believe you are. If you write every day, even a little, you're casting votes for being a writer. If you train consistently, you're casting votes for being an athlete. Over time, these small votes shape your identity. This shift in thinking changes everything. Instead of forcing yourself to chase outcomes, you begin reinforcing the identity you want. And once a behavior becomes part of your identity, it becomes natural. You're no longer trying to read. You're simply becoming someone who reads. Atomic Habits ultimately teaches that success isn't about dramatic overnight transformation. It's about designing your environment, reducing friction, making small improvements, and focusing on systems instead of goals. Tiny habits may seem insignificant in the moment, but when repeated daily, they create extraordinary outcomes. The message is clear. You don't need a new life plan. You need better daily habits. Improve by 1%. Focus on systems. Build the identity you want. And over time, those small shifts will create a powerful chapter shift in your life, one habit at a time.